Hey guys, welcome back to FOF Reviews, and today I'm going over a complete dumpster fire of a movie. Somebody should be jailed for this. So there comes a time throughout, every year that they just seem to put out garbage on our screens. I happen to be a victim of this now. I'm not really one to trash movies like this. I think that, sometimes people really try their hand at making something original or different, or do their own iteration of a story. And to me, this was a tragedy, abomination, and in some sense,
a terrorist attack.
When I watched this, I couldn't help but think, like, today was not a good day. And if you don't know what movie I'm talking about by now, I'm talking about... So again, I'm not one to try to tear down like actors or, directors and things like that. I think we should really try to have grace with some people, especially like creatives. Me and my wife are creators now, but this is definitely one of those things where I don't know why this wasn't reviewed by more people as far as like the people creating it. Why didn't they look at this again and just like clearly see that there was things wrong with this movie? I honestly feel like this was just lazy writing. It was laziness all around. Even like when you're watching the film, the characters are real 2D. There's not much depth to them. You don't really get any type of emotional connection with them. I didn't feel bad that the world was being taken over. I'm a part of the world. Why am I rooting for the aliens? Like, when I'm watching this, I'm like, dang, we kind of deserve this. It was the dumbest premise. So going into this movie, you're introduced to Ice Cube's character, and he's supposed to be basically like the eagle eye. He's the big brother. He's watching everybody's moves, and he's like crazily abusing his power by, watching his family, like his daughter and his son and her daughter's fiance, or maybe just boyfriend. I really don't. It doesn't even matter, honestly. But he's going so far as to, spoiler alert, this isn't even really important. None of this movie is important, just so we're clear. But spoiler alert, he like looks through her fridge and is telling her she's not getting enough protein for the baby, and he's just really, I'll bleep this out. He's an asshole to his kids too. Like, it's not even a joke. Like, he's just an asshole to his kids. He's not nice. He doesn't listen to them. He ignores them. He hangs up a couple times on his kids during this movie, and this is like a movie where it's literally a global crisis. And the one thing that really bothered me was just like how they gave Ice Cube this role of being this character that's supposed to have some like emotional range. You know what I mean? Like, he's supposed to work with what he was given with this script, which was a terrible script and a whole terrible premise on how they delivered this. A super big gripe that I have with this movie is the way they shot this. It was literally a computer screen. It was FaceTime. It was Zoom calls. And it wasn't just like it was you're looking at a computer and the screen. It was like you're right on the cursor whenever he's going to something. It's like over here, over here, over here, over here. It was insane, and it was like messing up my eyes, my concentration. I don't know if I have like ADHD, but whenever he scrolled to something, I was trying to read everything else that was in the background. I read the thing that he clicked on last. It was just a really poor way of shooting a movie. I would never want to watch a movie that has this type of camera work ever again. And the characters were very, very, another word for stupid. Not idiotic, because like idiotic can be like funny, inadequate, or I'm literally looking up synonyms for stupid for some of these characters. Imbecilic is probably the best way to describe them. Eva Longoria's character, she's supposed to be working for NASA, and this isn't really a spoiler, but the meteor shower is how these aliens arrive. And just the way that she interacts with them is like totally, I don't work for NASA, but I know it's not protocol. I know it's not protocol what she's doing. Like, I'm sorry, but to me it was just so stupid. Like, some of their decisions. And, Ice Cube also works with the FBI because, he's Big Brother, he's surveillance and stuff like that. And so he's trying to catch this whistleblower that's leaking government information. And he is talking to this director of the FBI, and the one thing that is driving me nuts in this movie that I already mentioned is the camera screens, like the FaceTimes. There's literally this FBI agent that's raiding a apartment. She has a gun in one hand and she has her phone in the other recording. What are we doing here? Like, this isn't a stream. I don't get it. Like, this isn't a stream. You're not a streamer. You're literally going to basically arrest a terrorist, and you have your iPhone out. They literally have body cams. Why are we doing this? And why does Ice Cube need to see it? He already has cameras everywhere. He has cameras in the building. He's able to access cameras in the apartment complex. So really, why does she need to have her phone out? It pissed me off so bad. And then, this same FBI agent is calling Ice Cube saying, how should we engage these aliens? What are we talking about? The world's being invaded. Shoot them. I don't know. And then Ice Cube's response is so stupid too. It was almost funny, but it just pissed me off even more. Come on, bro. We need to be better than that. We need to be better than that. It's been in the news lately, like that there's this mothership coming to Earth, and it's far away, right? It's super far away. How come in this movie they couldn't detect all those damn meteors coming in? And I'm not talking about like a few, like 10 to like 30 meteors. I'm talking about like there's over 100 meteors that hit the Earth. There was nothing saying that these things were incoming, but we have a mothership that's on its way. Okay, all right. They're trying to make Ice Cube this father that is trying to do right and really trying to work on his flaws. His wife died, and yes, that's sad on writing, but the way that they portray it, it's like, I really don't care. That's insane that they can have one of the saddest things that can happen to you as like a human, as a man, and you can write that for a script, and they executed this so poorly that I don't even care about that. And so, Ice Cube is supposedly trying to be this better dad, and when things start hitting the fan, his son calls him, and he's literally running, also on FaceTime, not just the call, he's on FaceTime too. So you see his reaction, you see him running. He always makes sure that the camera is on his face while he's running too. He thinks that his son dies, and he's just looking at the camera like. Now, keep in mind, Ice Cube does call him a little, a punk, and he's just really rude. And this kid's not even bad. Like, he's not even like a bad kid. He's not even saying things that are disrespectful. It's just Ice Cube. He's just like messed up. The way they wrote his character is so horrid. Appalling. I literally have a note that said, we deserve this to happen to us for having this film being released. What the aliens did in that movie should happen now. There was a scene where the daughter gets injured, and her fiance, he's an Amazon delivery driver, and Ice Cube reaches out to him saying like, hey, you need to go get, I don't even remember her name. Didn't matter. You need to go get her. He's played by the guy that played Roderick in Diary of a Wimpy Kid. And he's like, okay, I'm on my way. I'm not joking. This dude takes like an hour before he even shows up. And I'm just thinking to myself, were you finishing up deliveries? Were you making sure that everybody got their Prime package? He didn't even show up in time to save her from what was going on. Ice Cube used... I'm trying not to curse in this video. Ice Cube used the fucking Waymo to get his daughter out away from the aliens. I don't know about you guys, but Waymo stop for anything that's in the road, and supposedly there's an alien invasion and there's nothing on the road. That's like almost the most unbelievable thing in this movie. What really takes the cake with this whole like thing in the movie with the Waymo stuff is that they actually show on the screens of the Waymo that it's just regular traffic. Like it's almost like they forgot to edit like destruction and stuff on the cameras for the Waymo, because when you're watching it, the daughter's on FaceTime talking to Ice Cube, and she's like, oh my God, there's so much destruction, but I see the camera. You're lying. See, there's no destruction. There's not even aliens. It looks like it's regular Thursday traffic. Everybody's just stupid in this movie. It's in the title, so I'm also not spoiling anything here. The president is saying, You know, he wants to weigh his options on what he should do. They're briefing the president on what's going on. And then he says, you know, we've decided that we're going to have a war of the worlds. Roll the credits. That ain't it. Because what other choice did you have? Okay, you're the president. Aliens just showed up and they're attacking buildings. There's a lot of casualties. What other choice did you have besides going to war? What was the alternative? Oh my gosh. Some of the scenes that they had to show like what was going on throughout the world were so egregious. Egregious. I don't use this like normally in my vocabulary. I don't use egregious in my vocabulary that often. But they had a scene where there's a plane at the airport, and it just crashes. Pilot gave up, I guess. I don't know how it got affected, because the plane was literally like, and then it just crashes. There's somebody's relative right now, you know, that conspiracy theorist relative, you know, that you try not to talk to too long, that is saying,
you know, this could really happen. They're trying to tell us something. I heard about this.
Like, I'll see you next Thanksgiving. Like, chill out, dog. Yeah, it might happen if Ice Cube's in charge of saving the world. I hate talking down on Ice Cube because I like Ice Cube. I think Ice Cube got out of bed. They didn't do makeup on him. He just sat down in a chair, kind of like what I did right now. Sat down in a chair and just started talking. It's so bad. It's worse than you think. And that's actually the tagline for the movie. Look, for sure, without a shadow of a doubt, this was a flop. Give me Sharknado 1 through 8. Give me a movie directed by Stevie Wonder. This is the worst movie I've seen all year. Some people say, like, you know, jokes about bad movies, like, oh, you know, it's better with the sound off. This is better with the TV off. Just turn it off. Look, I didn't go into this movie expecting much. I'm gonna be honest. I already knew that it was getting some bad reviews, and I really wanted to say, like, hey, maybe this was funny. Maybe it was bad funny. No, it was just bad. Was War of the Worlds appropriate for kids? I'm gonna say yes, it was. Now, it definitely had its moments. So there's language in there. You hear Ice Cube curse quite a bit in this movie. He's saying some poopies in there. He says the F word a few times. He says, female dog, get out of the way. So yeah, there is some cursing in there. Now, as far as like violence goes, there is one scene really where they have somebody injured and it shows blood, but I wouldn't say that it was necessarily even that bad because the effects and all that kind of stuff were so terrible in this movie. It was laughable. It wasn't convincing at all that this person was hurt. So, you know, the violence, I'm not gonna say it was terrible, but it did have that scene in there. Scary. I know some people might say, oh, this was supposed to be a scary movie. It really wasn't. It wasn't scary at all. It was just annoying. Really, I think that you could watch this with your family, but I don't know why you would. You know, I actually asked my wife if she wanted to watch it with me. I'm glad she went to bed. It wasn't anything redeemable about this movie at all. It wasn't one of those movies that you could watch like knowing that it's bad and then find the funny in it. It was just terrible from beginning to end. But anyway, if I'm gonna give this a rating out of 10, this has gotta be a 2 out of 10. And the only reason I'm giving it any kind of, you know, thing above a 0 is because I'm sure there's something worse out there. And you know, this movie was directed by Rich Lee. I just gotta say this, you did this poorly. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video, and if you want more spoiler-free reviews like this one, please subscribe to the channel and leave a comment on what we should watch next. Thanks.